Good evening and welcome to the 2018 Newysports Awards night. I'm the host, Ty Seppert. Good to see a good turnout tonight from around the league, and really appreciate the support this season. It's been a massive season. Really, it's just flown by. Another semi-final series coming up. Congratulations goes out to all those teams from all grades, including the youth grades that have made the semi-finals. And of course, best of luck for those games. Very good time of the year, very exciting time of the year, and I think some really good stories out there this year in first grade with West Wallsend making it to the finals, their first finals appearance in 5 years or so for them, and there again. The microphone is a little bit up and down, but
that one should be right now. Don't be too close together.
Thank you. It should be a very exciting final series. Cooksville obviously the defending champions, and it's up to the other three to knock them off the perch, but even in the 23s and 19s we've got some very exciting matchups coming up. And look, honestly, it has been a wild journey over the last four or five seasons. To build up to this point, to have 6,000 likes or so is enormous, and my gratitude goes out to everyone in the New FM Northern League 1 for that. I'd like to welcome Quentin Connors up here. Quentin. Do I really need a microphone?
I think that this one works anyway, but yes, I've done the content work.
It's dropping out. They're two plays together.
Anyway,
We don't need microphones.
You just don't need them.
I basically took on the role of the correspondent this year for Northern New Wales football, basically taking over from Declan who did the last season. I guess in conjunction with that, I've been working with Bar TV this year as well, and also the digital content coordinator for Northern. But it's been pretty exciting to come onto this league, especially because it isn't as much, I guess interaction with like the NPL as there is the Northern League 1, and I think I can say on behalf of everyone here, especially and everyone else in the league, that I don't think without Ty, your efforts, that this league would be covered as well as it has been. So it is great to have these kind of events to be able to appreciate Northern League 1, because we don't exactly get that across the league, like compared to the NPL. So great to be able to help you out with this event, and it's great to see at least a few faces from across the league here tonight. So it's a good one.
Yeah. Alright, we're going to get started with move straight into the medals. Come down here. I'd like to ask David Willoughby, head coach of the Singleton Strikers, to come up and give a few words. I don't think any of the players have made it down, but
thanks, Ty. Thanks, Quentin. I appreciate the effort that both of you go through to help advertise Northern League, not to mention the broader part of football. Thank you very much for the invitation to come tonight and keep up the good work, both of you. I congratulate Graham and the Cooksville boys for another outstanding season across all the board, and the other, Gary Wand and Gary Rowan and Josh, for the first grade group making the semi-finals. I was really tight this particular season outside the Cooksville boys, getting away from everybody. The other clubs that impressed were Brendan and Cessnock. He's done an excellent job there as well, moving forward, and hopefully he continues to do that.
yeah.
I'm appreciative of the opportunity to come and represent Singleton here, and I thank you again for the invitation.
Well, I will present the medals first. I've got them here. We've got under 19s, 23s and first grade, of course. Under 19s, the nominees were Jack Clare and Marcus Morris. Two really good friends there from up Muswellbrook way. Only one of them can win it, unfortunately, and fortunately for him, it is Marcus Morris who wins it. So I'll give that to you. And
thank you very much. You deserve that.
Both those young players have obviously stepped up into first grade at times this season.
Jack made his starting debut against Cessnock in our last game, and Marcus has played on 3 games, all games off the bench. both boys have trained for the first grade group all but the first month. So they've done exceptionally well and improved.
Yeah.
Essentially, hopefully they've played more first grade games this particular season.
Yeah, it was a good group up there in the 19s. I think consistency sort of let them down. The 23s, obviously a long season for them, but some guys who really show up every week, and the man who wins that medal is a club legend. Over 200 or 300 games.
He's played over 300 games, 200 great games.
A lot of games for the Singleton Strikers. It is their 23s goalkeeper, Ryan Geho.
Thank you. Ryan will be appreciative of this because he actually played his last game against Cessnock as well. So he's finished playing grade before.
First grade?
Difficult one. Difficult one.
It is, but I think there's a player who's just been consistent all season and been the backbone of the team in defence. That is Jordan Phelan.
Yep. He had an outstanding season as well. I'll pass all these on at our club presentation night.
Yeah.
Ty, thanks very much for the recognition, and all three players will in time get in touch with you. Thank you for their recognition.
Yeah, I was saying, being at New Lambton last year, Kahibah Sports Club tonight, maybe the Royal Hotel can play host to this event in a couple of years' time?
Well, he's hoping for that. They might need to do something about it because we might be in the car park. I'd suggest that. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to come down. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Q, did you have any questions for Dave?
Not sure. I think this is back on working again. I mean, we're just looking at next season. I mean, we've had a lot of chats over the phone this year about the team, and I think at the start of the season, a lot of people didn't expect Singleton to be where you guys were, especially midway through the season. You'll come in second, did finish in 7th in the end. Still a fantastic season nonetheless, especially from where people thought you were going to go. Where do you see you guys finishing next season? Where do you think it's going to go here on out?
That's a great question. I don't have the answer to that, Q. I don't really know. We're still working hard. Singleton, unlike most of our cousins here, are reasonably remote, 50 kilometres from everybody, so we don't have the luxury of people just turning up or people jumping ships to come and play Singleton, so it's hard to travel. So we've got to work really hard on developing players. We just started the last 3 seasons. There's a bit of a youth program there now, and with the likes of Jack and Marcus and a few other boys that have not been mentioned tonight that have played first grade. I think the blocks are in place. If the football club continue to strive to enhance those blocks, they'll do quite well. As far as next season goes, it's always, as our conversations have always been, if I'm still coaching next season, if we're not improved on what our outcomes for this season, we'll be disappointed.
Well, thank you for your time, Dave, and I think on behalf of everyone as well, you've had a pretty fantastic season, especially in first grade, from where I think most people would have thought you'd finish. So, congratulations on a good season. Thanks for your time tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll move on to the next club, which is going to be West Wallsend. Now we have the club president, Jason Taylor, here tonight representing the club who are training tonight, first grade, for their big semi-final coming up on the weekend. And we'll move straight into the medals. Obviously West Wallsend are a club that 5 out of 16 team in the semi-final football, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Very big achievement for that club. And definitely a club that's really come back from pretty torrid time about 5 years ago or so. To be back as one of the forces of the competition across most grades is very good, especially in the youth development there is fantastic. Talking about the youth players of the under-19s, the winner for that particular award tonight is Liam Simpson. Obviously, a lot of players in that team probably deserving of this award. Very good team on paper and across the park. How do you reckon they'll go to the finals?
Well, I think it's. I think we like any of the clubs here. it's finals is a different ball game. So it starts again now. So we don't tend to sort of worry too much about results throughout the year. What happens, but we'll be right that way. We'll be fine. You know, once they're all on deck and they're playing, yeah, it should be good that.
Yeah. Under 23s, obviously the only side not making finals, but that being said, they've had a very good season, only missing out by 1 or 2 wins. Obviously a team with experience and youth chucked in there, which is sort of what you want from the under 23s grade. The winner for that is a player who hasn't played much of 23s lately, but definitely is still eligible. He is under 23. It is Blake Arthur.
Yeah, okay, excellent. I suppose another one that was pretty hard. I think, like with most of us, we really probably haven't. Well, we haven't fielded the same 23 side all year, which is, I suppose, that's what it's about. But when you throw in some injuries and I suppose then just the kids that want to play up and who can play up. But yeah, that's looking promising again next year. And I think we saw with a lot of results, you know, you change a couple of draws into wins and we're up there. So good result, I would say.
Yeah, first grade, what a game it was out there on Old Boys Day last Saturday against Belmont-Swansea. Fantastic result for West Wallsend. Fantastic turnout too for the Old Boys, and just the vibe there was really nice, and looking forward to what will be a massive day for the semi-finals returning to Johnson Park. The winner of the first grade medal is Bailey Jansen.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Ty. I think, look, they showed again, look, we're a passionate club, similar to what David just said. We're sort of out in the regional area, even though these days it's not too far. But yeah, we're a club that plays with a lot of pride, and when we can get people there on that hill, yeah, we've got the side that can sort of make things happen. It's just a matter of a bit of self-belief, I think.
Yeah.
I guess, like, just on that, like you said, I mean, making the finals, I think for the first time since 2013, and like you said, a very passionate club, and a club that hasn't tasted a whole lot of success in recent years, especially from the old days of, that you guys had. I mean, making the finals for the first time 5 years, finals come back to Johnson Park. What does it mean to the club? Would you say to finally be back there?
It means a hell of a lot. You know, when you've got some. CT, Chris Turner and those guys there, he's an extremely passionate West Wallsend fan, player, legend, I suppose. But look, just the feedback and the vibe from the guys after that game, look, we all know that was just a game that's got us through to the start. It's a matter of whether we can just put it all together now and keep going, but belief's a massive thing. And consistency with the boys and beliefs being something that we've sort of been up and down with, but it's there at the moment. So yeah, it's good feel.
Yeah, I mean, just talking about that as well. Then I mean, from looking at last season, and because you guys did struggle a little bit, like you have for like a few seasons now in the first grade division. What do you think's changed this year? Because you haven't brought in all that many signings, I think, in the off season, but it has been a bit of a change people have been seeing in the way they've been playing. What do you think has been the reason for the success this year?
Look, I think it's a number of things, but I think the big one is the belief and the fact of the motivation. When money's not a motivator, it makes a pretty big difference. We don't have to worry about that. The boys are there to play for each other, and they're there to play for the club. So I think that's a big part of it. You know, they're all mates. It's when you get new guys to the club that if they go and have a couple of years or whatever it might be, to say that, look, we've got 19s, 23s and first grade all here, wherever it might be together, that's something that's big, that's a bond. So, yeah, I think that's probably most of it. We've thrown a couple of new players in there, but again, that comes about by the guys that we've already had at the club that we've been able to sort of get your mates over here, So that's how that started.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic season from across the whole club. I mean, having some grades in the finals is a great testament to the club. So congratulations, good luck for the finals, and thanks for coming tonight.
All right, we're going to move on to a special award. It is going to mention the volunteers of the league, and I think in that I'm going to mention the referees as well. Obviously, that's more of a paid role compared to volunteer work, but without the referees, I don't think we have a game, and sometimes we take it for granted. They're always there. They're always giving us the game that we love. Like players, they make mistakes. I think everybody makes mistakes, but it is a tough job, and without those referees, we don't have a game. So I think a round of applause for the Northern referees that keep our beloved competition going. This next award, it's Volunteer of the Year. Danny By won last year at Wallsend. I call him the one-man army out there at Wallsend. He does it all. There's so many people that are deserving of this award across the clubs, and the volunteers, the committees, have really taken Newysports in as something that tries to expand the clubs, expand the competition, and promote the game, I guess. But there's one person who I believe has really been instrumental in building up a club that's become the premier club of the competition, so to speak, and that is Cooks Hill United. Over 20 years or so, that a lot of people come through that club. A lot of hard work has been done. Di Spurway is getting the Volunteer of the Year award for her enormous work at that football club, and I'd like to invite someone to speak on Di's behalf. Maybe the gaffer, Graham Moore. Obviously none of the committee here tonight. They do keep themselves pretty busy there at Cooks Hill, but okay, Dave Morley will be here later on. But tell me, you've been around at a few clubs. How hard-working is the Cooks Hill committee compared to even some in the NPL? Obviously they're a bit of a smaller committee, but they work very hard, especially Di Spurway.
Yeah, well, first of all, well done to all the committee, all the clubs. It's not easy, thankless task, that doesn't go appreciated, although I do think they're getting appreciated. There's a lot more publicity about committee than there has been previously, but well done to all the committee. Yeah. In terms of Di, the award winner, it's just incredible what she does, not just through the UFM seniors, but the juniors, the women, the zone league. Yeah, she's pretty incredible. And in a year like this, we all have suffered losses, but Di's had a particularly bad year. She lost her stepdad, she lost her mum, I believe the dog died as well. She's had a really bad year, and it's not reduced her commitment to the club. She's a pretty incredible person.
Thank you, Graham. Might move on to Cessnock City Hornets. Obviously Jackson over here representing the club tonight. I don't know if they're training or whatnot tonight, the 23s, but 23s are going to the semi-finals, which I think is a good story. One particular story is the club legend David Skip O'Hearn. I'm pretty sure most in the competition would know David. He's played 400 plus games now for the Cessnock City Hornets, and I believe he's going to break his brother's all-time club record games in the semi-final series, which I think is a fantastic story in that 23s comp. And we'll move on to the award winners for the Cessnock City Hornets. And in the under-19s, it is Jackson Bartlett. I'll have a quick word. Obviously the 19s, it's been a rough season, but there's been a couple of decent performances from the side. There's a lot of potential, some good players there. And against Kahibah, who is put in pretty well. I guess, you want to give a few words on that season?
Yeah, well, we've certainly had our ups and downs. Playing against Kahibah, we played extremely well. Lower clubs, we've been consistent. Especially the last game, we started the field with 11 men, and the players been taken up after the field, and we were left with 9 players at the second half. and we have to actually change and it all just fall apart. And well, the result speaks for itself. We can only do so much with what we have. And we need to build the high teams up there, so you can't just have names stacking players. So it's understandable from our point of view. That's so fast it has to be done.
Congratulations on your season. I think you've saved a fair few goals in that team. For the under-23s, it's Ben Priest who sent his apologies earlier, but he deserves a round of applause. He's been a fantastic player in the under-23 comp this year. And for first grade, it's a person who's coming to the club, and I don't think just on the field, but off the field, he's really been a leader of that team. It is Greg Anderson. Thanks, Jackson, and well wishes for the off-season, mate, and for the future. Hugh, I'll come back over here. We'll maybe talk about Cessnock City. Obviously, they've had a better season than what they've had in recent years. You know, Lino Gaddy had to do a lot of hard work in getting that club back on track, and Brendan has obviously brought in some decent players this season.
Yeah, I'd say, I think a lot of people would agree here that the new players they've brought in have really made an impact for them. But I think what was so surprising about it, they went, I think, they're 5 games unbeaten at the start of the season, maybe 6, and just how quickly those players gelled together and how quickly a different culture, I think, was made from the Cessnock from the previous seasons. I think they will continue to push on with those new players. I think that the building blocks were put in place this year for them to push on next season. But it is a good story, I mean, considering, I think at the start of the year, Cessnock hadn't won a game, I think it was like 635 days. So for them to, really challenge for the finals this year, they finished in 8th at the end of it all, but they did challenge for finals towards the end of that year, this year, and I think they can only go up from here, to be honest. They're looking like a good side for 2019.
And yes, I'd like to congratulate Cessnock, especially off the field as well, the developments at the park, the new fence, a lot of work going in behind the scenes there. Lino Gaddy I think he didn't really get the appreciation that he deserved. I think a lot of the stuff he did there, and Warren and Michael Southworth, the president, very hard working club, and very good to see them sort of doing a bit better this season. Moving on to the next club, we'll go with the Horses Ass Award. We'll have a bit of fun here. This is a good award. Sort of the jokester of the year, and I'm looking over at Scott Winslade here. Unfortunately, his award winner isn't here tonight, which sort of just sums up his season, but it is Jack Stoneman.
Trying to come up.
I was watching Stoney play yesterday at South Cardiff, and he stirs some stuff up on the field, doesn't he?
Yeah, if everyone knows from versing him, he's an absolute character, not only on the field but off it, and he's actually got an arse the size of a horse. So, but basically, if you know him, he's a great bloke off the field, and especially on the piss in general, he's a real good guy. But obviously he deserves it, but he'll take it. And I'm sure he'll put it on his resume, whatever job he goes for, but yeah, on behalf of Jack, he's happy for it, so thank you for it.
The Horses Ass Award to Jack Stoneman from the Redbacks. We might move on to the Under-19s Coach of the Year. Obviously, there's been some decent teams in there in the finals. Toronto getting there on the final day over Belmont-Swansea, I think that was quite a good story for them. Obviously, they've had some dramas losing some points, so they had to work hard at getting those points back, and congratulations to them. They'll be up against Kahibah in the semi-finals, and obviously the other semis are Wallsend and Cooks Hill. So 4 teams that can definitely believe that they can do something this season and really do something special this season. The Coach of the Year will be going to the Premiership winning coach from Kahibah FC, Jared Gorsuch. Jared, obviously coming from Cooks Hill, the assistant Blake Lenny, you took over the 19s last season. Wasn't the best season, but worked very hard with this squad. Obviously, you've taken up to the 17s. You brought some players to the club. Just sort of talk through the process, I guess, of the season.
Yeah, obviously it was a bit of a learning curve going from Cooks Hill to Blake. Took the job with Matty and the guys at Kahibah. A lot of credit goes to the guys, same thing, backstaff at Kahibah, Richard, Alex, and it's the coaching ranks all the way up. That's helped me to where I am now. You know, I've made people talk that you can't get 4 guys from the NPL. It's more than that for me. It's the guys that have been in the club for 3 or 4 years that are now playing well.
Yeah, I don't think they sort of get the recognition they deserve. Obviously, Ryan Stutchbury gets a lot of recognition, but guys like Kyle Williams, Kai Condon, there's a lot of them, I guess, Len Whitehead as well. I could name them all, but they've come through the 17s from last season. I guess it's good to see them having that success in the 19s and they're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. As I said, the 17s, 16s, 15s, 14s are all in finals contention. So it shows the youth grades are well looking hybrid, just trying to get those senior grades on board and try and maximise the Cooks Hill, which set the benchmark. West End are always improving. Yeah, that's improving the first grade better.
Yeah, obviously playing Toronto in the finals. Had to wait until the final round of the season you're playing, but they're a team that obviously are going to have no fear and going to be a tough opponent, I reckon, for the semi-finals.
Yeah, it's been a good year. There's some pretty even match sides, like, you know, Belmont-Swansea, we've beaten by 1 goal twice. It's a pretty even comp across the board, Cessnock, 2 new and 9 players. As they said, semi-finals are a different beast. You've got to turn and play a game. Because unfortunately, you know, Australian football won premierships for nothing at the club level.
Well, I would like to congratulate you on winning the premiership and under-19s coach of the season from Cardiff Football Club, Jared Gorsuch. We will move on to South Cardiff. Chris Moylan is here tonight to represent the club. Dennis Patchkovich sent his apologies earlier, and his 23's coach is here to give a few words tonight. Chris, welcome.
Just a quick call out. Kahibah, 19s. Scott, great effort. And Graham and the boys at Cooks Hill set the benchmark. And it's a tough call, and as we said before, but to go back to back, make a big effort. I will point out that Southie were the only team that Cooks Hill did not beat throughout the season. But you know, we've got to cling on to something after yesterday. We're all pretty sad about what happened, but anyway, it is what it is. It's football.
Yeah, that was a tough whole day out there in Edinburgh yesterday. You know, it was a do-or-die game, and at the end of the day, I guess consistency did let the side down, and at the end of the day, the final was just a couple of points away. With the 23s, it was a tough sort of start to the year, and I thought it would be a slow start with a young side, but you've definitely seen some improvement in that team.
I think throughout the course of the year we had at least 9 starters each week that could have played 19s. We were playing 23s, so we knew it would be tough. They had to grow up, so to speak, from our football in a sense. So it took a few weeks to make that happen. You know, the boys came good, and we had a good second half of the season, definitely. So it's good.
We'll move on to the awards of the under-19s. This comes down to the Kirkcaldy brothers as the nominations, and only one of them can win it, and it is Riley Kirkcaldy. Yeah, for the 23s, obviously, I was talking to Carl Furness yesterday. He was one of the nominations. This team probably could have been a few players in there. It has been a team that's seen a lot of improvement. But I think one player has been really reliable this season in the fullback position, and that is Zach Ford. I want to quickly give a couple of words on Riley and Zach.
Riley, good choice. Played quite a number of games, 23s, so he's really stepping up. And funny enough, I coached Zach when he was at Redbacks when he played in the under 20s. Sorry, in the under 19s. So yeah, he's coming on. He'll be better. Both of those boys will be better for next season.
first grade player of the year at South Cardiff. I don't know if there can be too much argument here. He went for the golden boot, lost out the golden boot yesterday, and had a frustrating day yesterday in front of goals. But he's had another decent season goal-wise at South Cardiff, and that is Nathan McAllister.
Yeah, we knocked out a terrific season. He's one of those guys, I know he's played for a few clubs, but he turns up to training every week, puts in the effort, and gets the rewards. So yeah, well done to him. And thanks Ty, and I'm sure we'll pass these on presentation on. Thank you.
And just talking about Mac at the end, I mean, you said he has been to a few different clubs, and every time he kind of goes to a different club, he kind of can lift them up and make them a bit more successful than they were before. I mean, what kind of impact do you think Mac has had on the team, I guess, and I guess on the players around him on actually bringing himself up a bit this year?
I think the combination of Macca and Dennis, they tend not to put up with shit at training, which tends to then affect everybody else at training, and the standard of training improves. So that's basically where that comes from. Yeah.
Well, I guess in fighting for finals this year compared to the last couple of seasons, I mean, I know you guys didn't get it in the end, but I mean, it's still a pretty fantastic season from your point of view. I mean, what do you think's changed this year compared to last seasons? I mean, and what's kind of like the future looking like for the club for the next coming seasons?
Well, I think the future for the next couple of seasons is good because of the youth. The club made the decision that they would look for the youth. Like obviously we don't have any money, so you have to build from within, and that takes time. It'll take longer to do. But I think Dennis and his dad, especially Dennis, did a fantastic job in trying to change the culture on the field. It's a work in progress. There's more work to do yet, obviously. And we are not, certainly Dennis and I spoke yesterday, and we've spoken again today, we're not happy with what happened this season at all. So, we just missed out on semi-finals, but that's not what we were aiming to do at the start of the season. So, yeah, pretty disappointing all around.
Well, thanks for your time, mate. But still, congratulations on a great season.
Cheers, thanks, Todd.
It's probably a good time to mention the youth at South Cardiff, and I'd just like to take a couple minutes to just go through the youth competitions. Obviously, they still do have their final round to come next weekend, but the premierships to decide. I think all the top fours are decided. Not quite sure on that, but the premierships are definitely decided. I think they deserve to be mentioned. Under 14s, Wallsend FC winning the under 14s premiership and scoring a bucket of goals in the process. Bailey Ryan himself, the top scorer in the Northern League 1 competition in any grade. So congratulations to that team, and Jordan, I think, coaching them, and Sully as well. Fantastic work out there at Wallsend, and honestly, fantastic 14s competition in general. I saw Belmont-Swansea won again yesterday, improved outfit. There's a lot of teams that have improved as the year's gone on, and I think that's good for the competition, that's good for the youth of the competition, which I think we might be bringing in under 13s next year. I'm hearing that on the grapevine. Not sure on that, but definitely the youth is bright in UFM football, and that's good to see. Under 15s, Kahibah winning the premiership, Richard coaching them. Defensively, fantastic work by that side, and speaks for itself. Definitely very good work, and they've also got some tough games in the final. Southie up there as well. Another fantastic competition, albeit with a couple less teams, which I think hopefully we can sort out next season, because the 6 buys in a season, if you ask me, is pretty, it's just not good enough for football, and hopefully we can sort that out next year. And finally, the under-17s, Cooks Hill wrapping up the premiership yesterday. Congratulations to Bruce O'Donnell, someone that I know from my time at the club. Very passionate man, and he's done very well with that side, and I'm looking forward to seeing a few of them come into the 19s next year. Andrew, of course, has played first grade this season and done a fantastic job at that, so the youth is bright there, and yeah, congratulations to all the 31 teams in the Northern League 1 youth competition, and hopefully that can continue next year. We'll move on to another club. We'll go with the Thornton Redbacks. Maybe get Trent up here to give a few words again. Scott. Scott Winslade, the under-23s coach. Now, I'm going to save you time from having to get up twice.
It's been out easier than saying.
I'm glad he kept staying at home. He might have got on the loose today. I don't know what he would have done. Might have got hurt before the finals, who knows. Just missing out that goal would have really...
He wasn't happy.
While you're up here, I'd like to just congratulate you on the premiership this season and award you with the under-23s Coach of the Year. Do you want to give firstly a few words on the under-23s?
Yeah, sure. With the under-23s, obviously last year we didn't really push ourselves to the point that we wanted to go to. Ben's side last year with a benchmark, and this year we just tried to match them. You know, we started off well, and then we just seemed to just go with it, and no one could really come close to us for the first 10 games. Then it kind of got a little bit shaky at the halfway stage, and dropped a couple of points against Cessnock. They had a good game, so obviously, again, there's work to be done with regards to Cessnock in the finals. And we lost to Cooks, they're in the finals. Then we lost to Lambton a couple of weeks ago, they're in the finals, so we're playing. So, as much as we've had a great season, and as much as we finished on 52 points, there's still work to be done for the next few weeks. Whoever we're playing has got something from us this year, so yeah, we'll stay concentrated and, you know, try and get rid of that cocky attitude that we had around the halfway stage.
Moving on to the under-19s, and I think I said last night in the review that it was kind of unfortunate their season had to end, because I think that they're a team that's really getting into their best football as the years pass by. And congratulations to the coaching staff there and getting that side. I guess they were fairly low on the table at the halfway point. And the second half of the season, fantastic work. And the two nominees are Brock Thompson and Bailey Anderson have been fantastic and rewarded with chances in the 23s off the bench and in starting role as well for Brock. Only one of them can win the medal for the under-19s, and it is Brock Thompson. Actually, when the hands got the medals, and I realised that someone's actually shown up to collect their medal. That's fantastic. Good season for the 19s. Real quickly, as I guess you were the captain for a fair chunk of the season. You reckon they did well?
I think we were a bit unlucky, to be honest. In the first half of the season, a couple of things didn't go our way. We're a really good side. I thought we were very competitive with every team. There wasn't really many teams that beat us by a long shot, other than I think it was Kahibah first round, maybe. But no, I think as the year went on, we got our structure together and things started to fall our way, and we aimed for the top 6 and just missed out on that on the weekend. But other than that, I think it was a really good season.
Well, congratulations, mate. And under 23s, it's not here tonight, obviously, but it is Daniel Tui.
Yeah. With regards to Dan, really he's a first-grade player, but today he's over 35's fitness level, which is his problem. You know, like he produces things that players in 23s can't, you know, do. He's like I said, he's a first-grade player. He needs to work on his fitness. He knows that, and hopefully next year he'll come back and push him harder for firsts. Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, we'll move on to first grade, which obviously was a strange old season for the Redbacks. They were up there for a fair chunk of it, and then it really looked like they were going to fall out over the last couple of weeks. And then when the going got tough, they won against Lambton in a vital game. And then, of course, they produced that stunning victory at Ealinga Oval against South Cardiff. And one player has, I think, done very well this year. It's Trent Partridge, midfielder from the Thornton Redbacks, winning the Newysports medal. Do you want to give a few words on first grade?
Yeah, what an absolute season it's been, like both up and down. But this shows how great this competition is. Like from Cooks Hill being first place in Toronto, being last, whatever. Like every week has been tough. Like you just don't know what to expect. But yeah, like in terms of consistency of the comp, it's been absolutely brilliant this year, and can't fault any of it. So well done to everyone involved, basically.
Congratulations. And Q, do you want to ask Scott a couple of questions?
We'll start with Scott because it seems like your child needs a bit of attention to. But I guess, obviously from a coaching perspective, 23's first grade coming second. I mean, it must look like a pretty good season for both yourself and Gary from this year. Must be pretty proud of it.
Well, we started off and we tried to just fly under the radar, but we brought a few players in, and obviously when Darryl left, a couple of players left with his departure, and we didn't really set ourselves a benchmark to go for or anything like that. We kind of just said to ourselves, this is what we're going to do. We'll take it by a week, and by halfway, we're in a good position. And then, for us, especially with Gary as well, we're quite tactically minded. We work a lot of stuff during the week with regards to that, and the pitch. I know it sounds like a shitty excuse, but the pitch is changing. Kind of changed the way that we have to play. We've got a lot of ball players, so it took a bit of thing, and you can see like halfway through the season, results just started to go against us a little bit. Always there or thereabout, always giving me and Gary a damn hard time on the sideline, but yeah, every game was close, and sometimes we might make it, sometimes we didn't. We had great results against Cooks, the game against Cooks at their place was also a great game. They scored some stunning goals to finish ourselves in that one. So, we're quite excited about the finals. We've got a good chance against Westie, and let's be honest, no one wants to play Cooks twice. That's obviously Belgium because they may not do now, but a one-off game, I think we can certainly challenge them.
I guess for you, Pardo, mate, first year of the competition, first year at Thornton, how did you find it? I mean, obviously pretty successful considering you guys coming second. Had a whole bunch of new boys as well as you. I mean, what was it like joining the club? And then obviously, the success that you found afterwards.
Well, it's certainly been the hardest pre-season of my life, considering Scott's pop antics. I don't know what they did back over in his country land, but Christ, it was seriously one of the hardest pre-seasons of my life. But in terms of I don't know, coming back to UFM and playing with four of the boys and that, we had a few boys that had that NPL experience, so it kind of made things easy in terms of the standard of training, and in terms of general antics, turning up and doing all the hard work and extra 1%ers and stuff like that. But in terms of the 23s group, 19s group, even in first grade, everyone at training's been outstanding. Everyone's turned up, done the hard yards, put in the effort, and obviously the rewards at the end of it with 23s and first making finals. But yeah, can't fault them on and off the field, so they've been great this year.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Trent, and good luck for the final series. We'll do one more club and then we'll have a break. We're going to go through Wallsend FC, who've sent a couple people here. Does anyone want to come up? They're discussing, and I'll let them discuss it for a second or two. Let's see who we can get up here. Few words on Wallsend season?
Good start. 7 undefeated, I think it was, and we lost 5 in a row. And never really went back uphill after that. That's about it. That's pretty cool.
Well, the team obviously scored a few goals, but unfortunately also let in some goals. Defence wasn't the greatest at times.
No, I think we conceded at 2.4 a game. You're probably not going to go far conceding that many goals. I think the first 7 rounds we got carried away of we're going to go somewhere, but we're just outscoring opponents really. And it sort of caught up with us and everyone sort of figured us out. And that's where it really went pear-shaped and Ty stopped scoring goals and his ID2 form really come out.
You're stitching up there. We'll move on to the award winners, starting with the under-19s team, which have had also a fairly long season. Craig, I've got to give him credit, he's a coach who just continuously shows up and continuously puts himself through hell, I reckon, on that sideline. He's had a couple tough years, but when his best players keep getting moved up to the 23s, which I guess is a good sign of development, but on the flip side it does leave the 19 short. They did have some good games, and their goalkeeper Jacob Gallagher gets their award. Been quite consistent this season. A few quick words on the 19s.
Yeah, I've got a bad voice at the moment. Yeah, we had a pretty disappointing year considering the players that we had at the start of it. Didn't get anywhere near to where we wanted to. And yeah, just felt pear-shaped from there.
I think that pretty much sums it up. What do you reckon about Craig? He's a coach that you know, I don't know if he's going to go around next year. I don't know if he can handle this much more.
Yeah, I don't know. He's helped me a lot, and yeah, he's tried to help the boys a lot. But yeah, it just hasn't gone good for him at all. So I don't know what I can say now.
We'll move on to the 23s. Congratulations, Jake, on a good season in the 19s. In the under-23s, we have Cody Simpson winning the award. Cody's not here tonight, but I think deserves a round of applause. And another big one, first grade. It's going to have to be Ty Goldsmith who wins it. His name's on the net. You want to give a few words on the season? Obviously, didn't end up getting that golden boot.
No, I didn't get the golden boot, but it was well deserved by Cooksville. They killed it this year. I think he's come close to like 80, was it? 80 goals or something. I don't think we can compare with that. No, I think we had a good season. Like there was not many old faces. Like it was a pretty new outfit in Wallsend, and which is a good thing. Like it's something to build on. I think next year Wallsend can come out a lot stronger. If we recruit the right way, then who knows what can happen next year. I think we'll go well.
I'm not going to address the coaching situation. I've got a couple of rumours for next season, but are you staying on at Wallsend?
Anything can happen.
We'll leave it at that. Q? You want to ask a couple questions?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had a chat during the week on the Premier profiles on the website, but in terms of, I mean, obviously you played a few years in the Zone League competitions and scored a bucket of goals in there too. You've come up this season, scored more goals. I mean, how did you find it transitioning from the Zone League comps to the new FM comps? I mean, did you find it harder or about the same, or what was your thoughts on it?
Well, in the Zone League too, you get a lot of good players as well. So a lot of people stepping down from the NPL and this league. So it's just people that don't want to train. It's just as competitive, but I guess it's all across the board in this league. So yeah, no, it was good competition. But yeah.
We might just take we'll take an intermission. We've got through half the medals, and congratulations to Wallsend. Obviously, first grade didn't get the finals, but I reckon it was a good season, and there's some good results there in amongst some bad ones, but definitely something to build on for next year. Thanks, guys. So we'll take just a 10-15 minute break and we'll be back with the rest of the clubs after that. Thank you. Alright, we're going to resume the rest of the proceedings for tonight. We've got a few more clubs to get through, and of course the main awards of the night, the Player of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year, and our First Grade Coach of the Year. We're going to move on to Toronto, who are obviously first grade 23s. I think the less said, the better about their season. Tough times out there, and well wishes to Daryl McAllister. I think on behalf of the entire competition, we really don't want to see teams getting beat 13-0 any week of the year. We don't want to see teams forfeiting. So definitely some hard work needs to happen out there to sort of restore that club's image. But one team who's really done the club proudly is in the under-19s. Obviously the 14s and the 17s had a lot of potential too. The 19s have made the finals, and their medal winner tonight sent his apologies earlier, but it is their goalkeeper, Josh Masters. And under 23s, this was obviously this team didn't do very well this season. Again, I don't know how many goals they conceded, how many games they lost, so it's hard to say there was a best player, but I reward this on effort, and a lot of players left that team, and the ones that stayed, you know, there was weeks there they had 4 fit players and they had to play the rest from the 17s, which is a pretty poor situation to be in. And a player yesterday who was in goals, a couple of days ago, in goals for first grade, Luke Gibbons for the under 23s. And another player who definitely early on in the season, when Adam Routledge was still the coach out there, Toronto was showing some decent potential in pre-season, and did have a couple of good games. They beat Kahibah, they beat, I think they beat Wallsend early in the season maybe. They did do pretty well to start with the season, and their centre-back, Connor Ford, gets their first grade medal. We'll move on to the other club. I can't see anyone from New Lambton here, but we'll definitely go over them because they do have their 23s in the semi-finals, and congratulations to them for getting into the semi-finals. Good team, mixture of youth and experience. Peter Junkovic, of course, you know, doing a fantastic job with that team as, I guess, an on-field leader, and hopefully they can give Thornton a real crack in the semi-finals. Their under-19s fell just short of making the semi-finals, but a fairly young side. They made the 17 semis last year, and they've done very well this year. One problem for them is they lost this player to first grade because he'd done so well and he became a regular first grade. And I think been a fantastic player this year, and been one of my favourite players to watch coming up through the 17s and 19s as that centre-back in that team, and that is Hayden Pearce. In the under-23s, it was tough because it has been, again, this is a competition where there's a lot of players coming in and out, so it's hard to sort of pick one player who stood out above the rest. But a player that I remember from Ballo in the first season of Newysports in 2015, he was playing 17s then, I believe, and he's playing 23s now, doing very well for himself, Brock Torrance. This one might be a bit controversial because he's been injured for about half the season, but whilst he was there, he was the Golden Boot leader in a team that was at that stage of the season in last place. And, you know, it was tough injury-wise for the Eagles this year, and tough for this player to lose out on that chance for the Golden Boot, but it is Riley Taylor. Thank you. I reckon New Lambton obviously, you know, didn't make the finals this year, but compared to where they were earlier in the season, do you think Jim Foley coming in and is really building that club for the future?
Yeah, definitely. And from my discussions with Jim, he definitely loves youth. That's, I think, shown throughout his whole career as well. He loves being able to mould youth into the players that he wants, and I think he's already kind of shown that in the first few games that he's taken over. I think about 10 or so he's taken over now, coming in halfway through. And you could definitely see an improvement in the way they were playing. I think there was a bit more cohesion amongst the players. I mean, I think everyone for a long time just thought New Lambton's a good, talented group, but just didn't have the experience to get them over the line. So hopefully Jim can start making some improvements over there. But I mean, yeah, I think for New Lambton might be a bit of a slow burn with the young players they have, but I'm not sure if any improvements will be seen just next season, but hopefully in the not too distant future.
Yeah. And look, it's congratulations as well to New Lambton's 17s team, which is a side that Nick Pepper's done very well with that team, and I'd like to send out congratulations to him and wishing the best for the finals. I think they've been the club's best side, and honestly, probably 4 or 5 years' time, I think you'll see New Lambton as a real force. Maybe not just in this comp, but if they can get facilities together, they get an application together, maybe even going into bigger things in the future. That's the plan there. Moving on, we have the Goalkeeper Awards. I always get told I don't praise the goalkeepers enough, but here they are getting their own awards, and I think they're deserving of it. Obviously, it can be a tough gig sometimes. If you're up against a good attack and if you've got a pretty poor defence in front of you, there can be some long days there. And there's definitely some talented goalkeepers in this competition who can push on the bigger and better things. And one of those goalkeepers from the under-19s gets the Goalkeeper of the Year. He's Brady McRitchie from Kahibah Football Club. Just a few words on how the team has gone and how you found Kahibah this year.
Yeah, it was a good season overall, but I'd just like to thank the boys because couldn't have done it without them. I had a good defence in front. I just had to stay switched on and when I was needed to do well.
I think that pretty much sums it up because it is such a very good defence at Kahibah side, and yeah, very excited for the finals, I imagine.
Yeah, finals is good, but anything can happen, so I just have to put in and hopefully make it to the finals.
Thank you, mate. Under 23s, thanks, Brady. And again, congratulations. Not just to the goalkeeper, but to that defence there, Ryan Stutchbury, Preston Cunningham, Isaac True, all very, very good players, and they've done their job for their goalkeeper this season. In the under 23s, we have the Thornton Redbacks, Blake McDonald. Scott, I guess, can come up and accept on Blake's behalf. This is an interesting story, obviously, because you had your goalkeeper, Mick Hugo, obviously did his ACL, and Blake had to come back from the club, to the club.
Yeah, he did. When he's come back, he's done well. So obviously, Mick's a big personality to replace. He talks a lot and directs the side very well. But that's all for Blake to learn now, and that's why we decided to bring him back and give a young guy a chance, and give him a chance at 23s and push for first next year.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Scott, and fantastic work with Blake McDonald. Also at New Lambton when he was in the 19s, I think deserves an applause for that, and his 23s work there for him. The first grade keeper of the year, this is going to be a strange one because he has conceded a lot of goals, but in my opinion, that's on his defence. He's also been given praise from opposition clubs because, and I don't know if it's 40 goals that Wallsend has conceded, but it could very well be 80 if this guy was in goals. Saved a few penalties. It is Joel McNeil. Last season, Stuart Plant from Singleton Strikers got this award and also didn't have the best number in his goals against, but that said, you're one of the leaders on the field for Wallsend, and I think that sort of earned you that. Your thoughts?
Tough year. We need to win that when you do concede at 2.4 a game. Especially when you got young Jake from Cooks Hill, who conceded 18 goals all year and done a really good job. and he's a good young guy. And same as the guy from Thornton, he's done a really good job as well. Again, a young guy, and yeah, that's towards having to go to Thornton. But overall, got to go happy with it. It's 44 goals or something like that, but not much you can do. I don't think I go away about 11 penalties, so you know what that
Congratulations anyway, mate, and good luck for your retire in the future, wherever it's end up. Hopefully it's still at Wallsend. And we'll see how it goes next year. We'll move on to Belmont-Swansea United. I was thinking there'd be a few more here tonight. I don't think Harry was here earlier. I think he was departed. There you go. So maybe we don't have anyone from Belmont-Swansea here, but we'll go through them anyway because they are one of the bigger clubs in the competition across the board. Probably need to strengthen youth-wise. It's a hard catchment area there with Swansea FC, of course, in the Premier League. Tough area for Bell Swans, and hopefully the future can be brighter there for their youth academy. In the under-19s, he was here as Harry Rapp, who wins the award. And it's a good story, Harry. He was a centre-back, I believe, last year. Normal defender anyway, who Mick Buckley, the coach, moved up to striker this season, and I believe he got 11 goals. He was keeping on track for the Golden Boot, and for someone like that to do that, to move from centre-back to striker and compete for the Golden Boot, I think it's a fantastic achievement, and it was rewarded when Josh Rufo gave him a first grade debut at Toronto that night. So fantastic work for Harry. In the 23s, a side that, again, consistency probably let them down a little bit, but they were up there mid-table, and even on the weekend against Westie, despite both teams being out of it, it was a very entertaining game, and definitely a lot to like about Bell Swans 23s, a good mixture of youth and experience. One player there who just, pardon the language, runs his arse off every game, and despite his size, just really digs in and puts in an excellent job for that team, and that is Brian Simba. For first grade, Belmont-Swansea, it was quite shocking to see them, down there at the bottom of the table at the start of the season. They definitely got it together in the second half. 13 games unbeaten, I think it was, which I think is a fantastic achievement. They included a draw against Cooks Hill, and a very good side, Bell Swans, and I reckon that Cooks Hill Bell Swans semi-final, if you'd asked me, I think that should have been the grand final, but I think those are the two best teams in the competition personally. But anything can happen in finals football, and it's going to be strange to see one of them knocked out in the semi-finals, but I think anyone can win that game. Those two games, obviously, in the finals. And for Bell Swans first grade, one player that brought in this year at centre-back who has really been just a rock for that side is Reece Newton. I don't know if you're familiar with Reece. Yeah. Obviously from the Fallow days. What do you reckon about Reece this season and of course Bell Swans?
Yeah, I played with Reece quite a bit when I was at Valentine, but he's obviously been, I just think, one of the many players that have brought in that have done wonders for them this season. Even throughout the season, I think they've signed about 6 or so players they've brought in halfway through, and they really made the difference. I think they really reinvigorated the team right across the board. But I think at halfway through the season, I think I was sitting about second or third last. I don't think anyone would have thought that would have been sitting second with one game to go. They're obviously fourth now, got Cooks Hill next week, but it is, despite all the players they've brought in, it is quite a commendable achievement to come back as they did. They like leading and lady now at the moment, so I think they definitely need a bit of congratulations, but they've got a tough job next week now against the Cookers.
Unfortunately, Josh Ruffo did send his regards tonight. We've got training commitments with the NPL commitments that he has as technical director at Lakes. Mick Stafford also sent his apologies. He had other commitments tonight, but interesting appointment. Mick Stafford probably keeps the status quo there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a bit of a club stalwart. I mean, he's been around those boys for a while now. I don't think he would probably bring the knowledge or the tactics as Josh has. I think it might take a bit for Mick to kind of like him mould his way into the role, but I think given that he's been within the club and within the players, or around those players for so long now, I think he'll know how they play, he'll know their strengths, their weaknesses, and I think he'll be insights to get the best out of his boys. So I don't think it'll be too much of a loss Josh leaving next year. I think, you know, like the league games maybe might be lacking that little bit of a direction from the sideline, but I think they'll still be alright next year.
Yeah. I think they'll be fine, but Mick Stafford does like to give his opinion from the sideline. Very, very passionate man, and I think a natural progression for Bell Swans, and well wishes to Dave Reed, Shooter, the rest of the committee. Fantastic work at that club over the last couple of years. We move on to the Golden Boot Awards, which is of course the top goal scorers. And there's a very tight race this season across all three senior grades. Not so much in the younger grades, there's some clear standouts there, and I'll give a mention to Bailey Ryan in the 14s. Harrison Bridges, I believe, is Thornton in the 15s. That's testing my memory, but I'm pretty sure that was it. And young Andrew Benbow at Cooks Hill for the 17s. Fantastic work by all those three. In the senior competitions, 19's Golden Boot was the lowest scoring Golden Boot of the season, but probably sort of signifies that some good strikers left that competition last year, and others maybe not got consistent game time or consistent chances. But anyway, the player who wins it from Kahibah, unfortunately this trophy is all wrong. It says under 15s, it says Cooks Hill United, and it says Curtis McRitchie. So Curtis McRitchie gets it. Might not trophy. Curtis, I'll get Brady up here to maybe give a few words on behalf of the player. Might have to get this changed, but there it is. What do you reckon, you know, what do you reckon for the finals? Do you reckon Curtis has got a couple against Toronto?
Yeah, so definitely.
Well, best of luck to you, best of luck to Curtis, and congratulations. The McRitchie boys have been very good for that Kahibah side. In the under 23s, this was a very strange Golden Boot. It just sort of, it's like someone hit the pause button for the last 6 or 7 weeks. I thought Jack Stoneman would get there in the end, but he unfortunately missed out. Frustrating day for him yesterday at Southie, but Emerson Augie gets it from Cooks Hill United. I'll bring Ben up here, Ben Nichols, the coach, to accept. That's for you. Obviously, you've got 5 against Singo. It's been an inconsistent year for Emerson. Do you reckon he's going to fire up for the semi-finals, hopefully?
Definitely, hopefully. He hasn't scored many this round. He puts himself in positions, he creates heaps of chances. They're a little inconsistent sometimes. So he's been injured the last couple of weeks too, so I hope he turns up for us and bangs a couple in the next few weeks. Be good.
Yeah. Obviously that side is, I think you've lost 4 games in a row. It's tough to go into finals like that. You'd be feeling confident though of returning to form?
Yeah, I think that when we sort of realised we were in the finals, pretty much barring a major catastrophe, I think maybe we switched off a little bit. But I know the guys and the side and the players I've got, and I think when it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, I'll turn up and make a real good crack of it.
All the best for finals, mate, and congratulations to Emerson for the Golden Boot. And, again, another very interesting first grade Golden Boot this season. Me and Q were doing the Northern League weekly show for the first half of the year, and keeping track, and it was changing every week. There was a new leader, there was some guys scoring 4 or 5 goals a game, and it was one of those 5 goals Hall that ended up winning this Golden Boot award. eclipsing Nathan McAllister in the final round. It is Nick Russell from Cooksville United, 21 goals this season. Obviously, pretty consistent second round for you. Second half of the season has been good in terms of goals.
Yeah, kind of just got it on a run. I've never considered myself a top goal scorer, so pretty second with it actually.
I think that left boot of yours can sink anybody on any given day. You've scored some really cracking goals, to be honest. I think there was one maybe against Thornton at the outfield. What sort of goes through your head when you're probably 40 yards out from goal and you just see a chance? Do you just, do you believe that you can get it? Thank you very much, Nick Russell, the Golden Boot winner for 2018 NL1 First Grade competition. We're moving on to the final two clubs. We have the host club, obviously thank you to Kahibah Sports Club for the venue tonight. And Kahibah FC is the next club I'm going to call up. Maybe Andre, if he wants to come up. Matt, someone. It wasn't that long ago that me and you were up here at the sports club for Kahibah's season launch. It's obviously been a tough, pretty much a year to get for first grade.
Spit it out, mate.
It was a shit year, I'll say it. 10th place. But you have to say that the youth of Kahibah Football Club is very bright, not just in the Northern League 1, but also in the community leagues, and it's a club that's on the rise.
Well, look, we need to put our hopes on something, right? That needs to be clear. So obviously, I just want to sort of say, if you just look through the room here, and, I see Cooks here with your army over here, there's no freaking surprise that you guys coming first. That needs to be said. Well done to you guys. Then obviously have a guy scoring as many goals as our total team, so obviously that makes a difference as well. So that becomes a challenge. And you mentioned that you're not paying too much attention to a goalkeeper. Well, let me tell you, if I move into a club, the first position I sign is a goalkeeper, all right? Because I think this is how you win a comp, all right? So, and we unfortunately missed or lost a player where we put a lot of hopes in, and he done really well for us over the years. And that you're coming into a stride, and I personally believe between all the clubs there is, except of course here, because I really need to say you guys are class above, and I don't even know why we don't have a relegation, because I don't want to see you anymore, to be honest. So obviously that's a northern problem. I'm going to address that soon. Just letting you know. And if you just look, all right, so the level of each team, it's pretty even. You got a couple of good players and stuff like this, but then it starts with momentum. If you're winning a few games at the start, and then all of a sudden players showing up, and it looks like they're interested in football. And we had a bit of issues with this, and then all of a sudden momentum went against us. And it's all about this. We tried everything as possible to really turn it around. And talking about the youth, yes, I'm a big believer in youth. But let's be honest, if you don't have a skeleton of experienced players around them, they will go nowhere. There's no way. And so therefore for us, it's really making the aftermaths and really get it clear. We are in talks to some really promising players and stuff like that who really can get us forward, because we will never stop. It's not going to happen. No one will not stop us. We will just go there. And I am very, very looking forward to the new season after a big break, of course, because I need a big break. Here we go, Jim.
Alright, well, I'll present the medals. For the under-19s, we have Ryan Stutchbury for the Newysports medal. You'd probably be safe to give a few words on Stutch. You've become a bit familiar with him. Give him a chance in first grade. There was that hashtag, give Stutch a chance, I believe it was. And he got his chance, and he's one of those players that's, got a bright future at the club, hopefully.
Well, look, as I said, Stutch done tremendous. He done exceptionally well in his grade. Okay, but if you move up and then all of a sudden you're being presented with players who are experienced and really showcasing their ability, well then Stutch will also be challenged. All right, this is what we're trying to do. Stutch needs to be really slowly built into that first grade environment. We need to be very careful because for players, and that's what I think. If players getting thrown into environments where they just absolutely can't progress and having enough success, it's sort of really diminishing their development, and that's where we really need to be careful. So we're going to throw him in, put him back out, throw him back in, and to really make sure that the success rate is high, because I think that is the best for a player to move forward and really become a solid player further down the road, because this is what we want to do with him. We have long-term plans with him, and one day he will walk into that space and will absolutely be a solid player.
For the under-23s, I think I said halfway through the season, and if I had a team of Luke Joneses, I think I'd do all right. You might not win the competition, but geez, you get 100% effort every week. Jonesy gets the 23s medal.
I'm not sure how many people know how much we care about the 23s, but we don't really care about them because they're reserve grade players, and they have to shape up how the opposition plays on the weekend. So therefore, it's really a challenging environment in Kahibah, because on the end of the day, we care about the first grade and the reserve grade players in the 23s, even though I understand it's a team effort and it's a team momentum there as well. But if you look over the history for our under 23s, as soon as I walked into this club, the 23s are basically there to provide and create an environment for the first grade to learn through training and getting prepared to win games. So therefore, it's a bit challenging for 23 players for us, but they have the opportunity to train with first graders every single day, and therefore I think this is the best for them to present themselves when they play against first graders. Because on the end of the day, when you play against 23 players or all reserve graders, that's not really where we want to be, because first grade is the place where you want to be, and this is how we treat our environment at Kahibah.
And finally, for first grade, a player that was an import this season, and obviously during the first half of the season was one of the better players in the competition on his day. Got into some disciplinary issues and missed a few games, but it's Tom Bootsman.
I will pass that on. All right, Bootsen. Superstar as a player, absolute weak mind-wise. If you get 7 yellow cards because of talking to the referees and get a suspension, well, that's a question for the coach. If you do a tackle when someone breaks through and you get a yellow card for this, that's maybe acceptable. But people who know me, I'm absolutely fuming if players start negotiating with referees. I have no time for this. I spoke to Boots about this. And regardless what he did on the park, I thought the signing of him was not sustainable. He hasn't provided what I was after, because he's a quality player, even though he gets his medal. But Bootser knows it, and I have to, in my aftermaths, have to be harsh on that, and I have no problem telling the rest of it what I think about him. This is just the way it is. Coming into this country, and you're going to be comfortable, and the sun shines, and then all of a sudden you look the same. Like it's like a holiday place, isn't it? Thanks, bye.
Kiri, do you want to ask a couple of questions? I think you sort of said a lot.
I reckon I got it all covered anyway.
I think you've got it covered.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andre. Rightio, we will move on to the first grade coach of the year. He missed out last year despite winning the premiership, but this season he has been, working his backside off to get this Cook Seal side back into the semi-finals, back into first place, and consistent as ever, Mr. Graham Long. Graham, obviously another premiership for this club would have to be another proud moment for you.
First of all, well done to all the head coaches this year. It's not an easy task, but it's pretty obvious in sport, only one team can win it, but having been through, still a relatively young head coach myself, but been through challenging seasons myself, and it's easy when it's going well, it looks good, but it's also a very challenging role for people that have lost the injury or just off form or whatnot, so well done everyone. It's not an easy gig. On regard to the team, yeah, we did win it last year, which was an achievement considering it was a brand new team. And when you win a competition, it becomes even more harder, I believe, to replicate that. And we sat down and seen where we finished and where we could improve, from Jake in goals, where he could improve to defence. We broke it all up, where Daniel in the midfield could improve, and then obviously the strikers as well. And we set individual bars and team bars, and it hasn't came easy like it has, but we worked really, really hard, or the players do. They never miss training. They right through the club. 23's trained beside us and with us, and we have 30 people at training every session. And again, that is easy. Goops touched on it. When momentum's going well, it's easy to come along. But I can honestly say, even when it gets tough, and it does sometimes, the numbers are there. So, like, whatever the boys have earned this year, they've truly earned it. The work that they put in is incredible, and that's rewards and standards. And I'm really proud as a coach to look tonight. We only had one chat about it, and I knew that my captain would be there, my goalkeeping coach, my 23s coach, our committee member, some of my real senior first grade players, my keeper. They're all there because they know the right thing to do, and the right thing was to turn up tonight for the hard work you do. So that just replicates our season. They're a really good team, and I feel fortunate to coach them. So.
One more thing, obviously you're committed to Cook Seal for next year, and looking at building a club up. You went over to Europe to gain a coaching license, I believe. Talk about the process. You want to improve, I guess, as a coach and learn more as a coach, and if you're really working hard at doing that.
Yeah. Also on that note, going to Europe, I must thank Glenn Chapman, who stepped in. Shows you how strong the coaching community is in Newcastle, that I was fortunate enough to be able to release the club to him and to Ben and Graham to look after. It was, I don't know, we maybe lost a couple of games when I was away. That was nothing on Glenn. We lost the game that I got told about off my other coaches. We lost sending offs at critical moments. Glenn stepped in and done a great job. So yeah, but in terms of the club, I do believe a couple of things I agree with. Goops was up previously, and a couple of things I disagree with him on. But one I do agree on is first grade's there to win the comp and set a pathway. And to do that, you need good players. So I also buy into it. It's all about youth and development, and we're very fortunate geographically. We do have a very big youth base. That doesn't make it. Just means it's larger, which is it's low-hanging fruit. It's easier to pick from. So, but yeah, there's a great emphasis on youth, and I believe in promoting young players. As well as I do. I'm at the 17s games. I'm on the bench now. We have a real emphasis on youth this year. We did have. There's been players come through from 17s, play 19s, the same as other clubs, and it's actually good to see. I see it through all the clubs this year that youth's getting a chance, which is good to see. And we are focused on youth. We have to be. We want to play in the NPL. We have our first grade NPL team. But obviously, just for whatever reason, we can't get up at the moment. Facilities probably needs to improve. Certainly, the pitch does. But yeah, we're big on youth, and we'll just see where it takes us. But we want to play in the NPL. Yeah, for sure.
All the best for the final series, mate, and good luck for 2019 as well. We will move on, ironically, we will move on to Cooksville United's team medals to be the last team of the night before the Player of the Year trophies. And the under-19s, Michael Best, the coach, messaged me earlier today. They are training tonight, so unfortunately none of them could make it. Understandable though, with such a big game coming up on the weekend. And appreciate Bestie's apologies tonight. As for his Newysports medal for the 19s, it goes to Damon Wyatt. There will be a few players. There's probably a few players in that 19s team that could have won this medal, but Damon has been pretty consistent this year. Scored a couple of goals, got a lot of assists as well, and it's a very good team, that Cooksville team, and will be very dangerous in the final series once again. For the under-23s, obviously consistency's been off a little bit at the moment, but been a very good side for the majority of the season, and a lot of that due to their goalkeeper, Adam Gunster. Maybe a couple of words on the year Gunny's had in goals.
Yeah, Gunny's been great this year. He was good last year, but he's improved. I think Graham, H over here, and Jakey, they train, they do their own specific goalkeeper training. We just didn't sort of have that last year. I really think there's no difference to Adam's game. Unfortunately, he's injured as well at the moment, so I'm hoping he's back for the weekend. Thanks, Scott.
Yep. Thank you, Ben. And congratulations to Gunny for the first grade medal for Cooksville United. It goes to their top goal scorer, Nick Russell. I'll actually have you put down for this award 4 to 5 goals on the weekend. Sort of talk your way through, I guess, this season Cooksville and sort of compare it to last. Is there any differences, or has it been, I guess, more competitive, more urges to win better? I guess.
A better squad from the top to the 23s, even the 19s, even Bud's coming through. So yeah, just probably the squad size, and I mean the team weren't playing. This could have gone to anyone. Yeah. Honestly.
I think that's safe to assume there's a lot of good players on that side. Congratulations, Nick Russell. Cooksville's medal winner for first grade. We'll move on to the final awards of the night, the Player of the Year trophy, which is obviously the best player in each competition. And the nominees aren't listed in the pages, but will obviously come from those team medals. Obviously 11 nominees in each category, I guess. For the under-19s, the 2018 Newysports Player of the Year for the under-19s competition is Ryan Stutchbury. I'd like to ask Coach Jerry Gorsuch up here. Just a few words on Stutch and I guess what he means to your side.
As Gunn said, probably a bit disappointing in some ways. He probably get a bit more time in first grade, but obviously there's a learning curve to go through at Kahibah. As I said, he's probably our biggest nest egg apart from Kurz up front and breaking goals. The most important player in our team.
Yeah, that defence, we didn't really talk about it earlier when you're up here, but obviously Brady has been very consistent in goals, but defensively you've probably got the best back line in the competition.
Yeah, it comes from hard work, obviously setting up shape during the week, and obviously our pre-season started in October last year. So yeah, it's just hard work.
Well, congratulations on the premiership and of course to Ryan Stutchbury for the 2018 Player of the Year Grand. In the under 23s, lots of it's a tough competition to gauge, I guess, because there's a lot of players coming in, coming out, and squads are chop and change. But one player who's really been consistent and has been a leader for the Thornton Redbacks, it is Dan Tui. Just a few words again on Dan, I guess the leadership that he brings to the team and the experience.
Yeah, he's got the leadership. He's captain for a few games on Jimmy went away. Yeah, he leads the side well and gets in good positions. Played centre back against Lambton right there as well. So, like I said, Dan's got the ability of anyone who was really in the first grade capacity. He just needs to work on a couple of things with his fitness and maybe his mental attitude. He deserves it.
Congratulations, Scott, again on the premiership and on Dan Turi for the 23s Player of the Year. And for this last award, I'd like to invite Tiga Marcus up to help present this. He was the 2017 Newysports Player of the Year for first grade, and he's volunteered his services tonight to come and, I guess, hand off this award. Marcus, just a couple of quick words before we present this award. What do you think that, you've gone from UFM to the NPL, do you think that's a pathway that should be utilised a bit more, and maybe, I guess there's more players that can do that now?
Yeah, definitely. There's not so much gap between the UFM and the NPL. It's just a mindset. And coming from Nigeria straight to Newcastle, playing for Wallsend, I remember one time we were playing against Belmont-Swansea. It was a trial match, and Alex Scott was telling me where to run. I was running everywhere. Alex Scott was telling me as a striker, I just step one side and start tackling from one side. I was turning 24 that year, and I was starting to learn that. And it's pretty basic, but coming from where I was coming from, it's just hitting the park as well. So the new FM is not a shit competition. Yeah.
How have you found Western this year? And obviously, a lot to build on there. A lot of good young players at that squad, and looking forward to maybe staying there next year. I don't know if that's confirmed or not.
Well, it's not confirmed yet. Yeah, it's a nice bunch of lads of West End and Speed tips to trophy this year. But we've done a lot better than the last 2 years combined, which is really good. Yeah, so I think West End has, by the fact that we've done a lot better than the last 2 years, we've had a successful year.
We'll get on to presenting the final award of the night, which is the first grade Player of the Year. He was just up here with his Cooksville United's Nick Russell. Here you go to this last year's winner to pass it on to Nick Russell. Russ, I know you're just up here, but I guess how does it feel to be called one of the best players in the competition?
It's a massive privilege. Yeah, individual honours is never something that I strive for, but yeah, I'm definitely happy to.
Appreciate it, mate. And best of luck for the semi-finals. Thank you, Tiga. Thank you, Nick. And over here, just to sum up the night, I guess maybe not a prediction for the finals, but what do you reckon we're going to see in this new FM semi-final series? Good.
I think we'll see 4 really good games, to be honest. I was actually really happy that Belmont-Swansea dropped down to 4th to take on Cooks. I think that makes it a fantastic semi-finals. I think Thornton versus Westie as well. I mean, there's there could be the potential of experience winning the day if it was Belmont-Swansea and Cookshill in different matches, but I think this way both really even each other out. And I personally, my tip I think would have to be Thornton versus Cookers. Obviously Cookshill have all the experience on their side and had a great season, and I think Thornton as well. I think they've just got a bit more experienced heads in terms of players that have played in finals, players that have played in higher leagues like the NPL obviously. So that's my prediction, but obviously I think you go Cougar anyway as well. So I think we're in for a good semi-finals series, that's for sure.
Thanks, Q, for coming along tonight, and I'll probably disagree on the semi-final. I'll be putting up my tips. I'm going to go with West Wallsend versus Cookshill. I believe West Wallsend's. I just think that side is just on an upwards path, and both sides, Thornton and West Wallsend in that semi-final. Thornton obviously I don't think they've ever been in the UFM Grand Final, and West Wallsend obviously 11 years since their last Grand Final. So very good story coming out of that game. And again, Cookshill Belmont-Swansea Grand Final rematch in the semi. It's going to be a fantastic weekend coming up, and again next weekend in the second leg. And the best of luck, even 23s of course as well, Thornton, Lambton, and Cookshill and Cessnock, and then in the 19s Kahibah versus Toronto, which should be a very interesting test because Toronto are a side that's got nothing to lose and can definitely play well on their day. And Cookshill versus Westie, again, two sides that have been there in the last few 19 semi-finals. So overall, a very good semi-final series coming up. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up tonight. Probably not the turnout I expected, but the ones that are here, stay here for tonight. I really appreciate the support from Cookshill. Obviously, probably win the night in terms of attendance, but you know, we've got Chris from Southie, we've got Jason, we've got Thornton guys. We've got a lot of players and a lot of different clubs represented, which I think it was a struggle to try and organise this tonight. I've been putting this together for a month. I've been sending text messages for a month to try and bring 11 clubs together in one place at one time. Hopefully next year we can try and boost it again. And look, it's been fantastic again this season to bring you the competition, and we will be looking at getting the semi-finals filmed and make some highlight videos, and obviously have those memories available for years to come, because I think there's a lot to still come in this competition. Thank you for coming tonight to the 2018 Newysports Awards, and you know, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for the support. 5,600 or so people liking the page on Facebook. I couldn't imagine when it started out that it would be this big after 4 years, and hopefully we'll keep growing from here. Thank you.